The world has fallen to chaos. Survival is the only thing that matters. And in these 10 best zombie games, you're not just fighting the undead, you're fighting for your life. Whether it's a brutal open-world experience, an emotional survival story, or a relentless action-packed fight to stay alive, these games will test your limits. But no game is perfect, so let's break down what makes these games great and where they stumble. A post-apocalyptic Oregon, wild hordes of freakers, and one man's quest to find meaning in a world gone to hell. Days Gone isn't just about zombies, it's about survival. The open-world setting feels alive, with dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and an immense sense of isolation. But what really elevates this game is the sheer scale of the freaker hordes. These aren't your slow, lumbering zombies. These are terrifying, fast-moving masses that can overwhelm you in seconds. But the game isn't without flaws. Some players complained about repetitive mission design with similar objectives that drag on. The story, while emotional, sometimes falls into predictable tropes. Despite this, the stunning environments and heart-pounding moments of tension make it a must-play for any zombie game fan. If Days Gone is about surviving against the undead, Dying Light takes it to a whole new level with its parkour-based gameplay. Picture this: you're racing across rooftops, trying to avoid massive crowds of zombies while the sun is setting, knowing that soon you'll be facing far worse threats in the dark. The fast-paced action and parkour mechanics are the highlight, but the game isn't perfect. Some players find the combat repetitive over time, especially with the basic melee mechanics that don't evolve much as the game progresses. The story, while engaging, can sometimes feel like it takes a backseat to the gameplay. But the thrill of escaping through a zombie-infested city makes up for these minor issues. This isn't just a zombie game. The Last of Us is one of the most emotionally gripping experiences in gaming. It blends survival horror with a devastatingly real human story. You play as Joel, a man hardened by the apocalypse, tasked with escorting Ellie, a girl who might just be humanity's last hope. The infected aren't just terrifying in their appearance, they're a constant reminder of what the world has lost. The game's biggest strength is its emotional depth, but not everyone agrees with the pacing of the story. Some parts can feel slow, especially when you're craving more action. Additionally, some players find the limited combat options and AI behaviors to be frustrating at times. Still, the combination of gameplay, story, and graphics makes it a must-play despite these flaws. If you're looking for a zombie game that's all about making tough choices and living with their consequences, Telltale's The Walking Dead is the one. The story focuses on Lee, a convicted criminal who becomes a father figure to Clementine, a young girl forced to survive in the brutal world of the undead. However, Telltale's limited mechanics might be a turn-off for some players. The gameplay is mostly focused on quick-time events and decision-making, which doesn't provide the action-heavy zombie experience that many players may expect. The episodic format can also feel drawn out, especially if you're not a fan of slow-paced narratives. Despite this, the emotional storytelling makes it one of the most compelling experiences in the genre. If you want your zombie game to have a little more kick, Dead Island 2 delivers exactly that. The game's setting is the sunny, zombie-infested streets of California, and it's as absurd as it is intense. The over-the-top combat mechanics let you hack, slash, explode, and zap zombies in every possible way. But there are drawbacks. The game's humor and wild gameplay can feel repetitive after a while, especially as you face similar zombie types throughout the experience. The lack of deep character development and a more complex story can leave you feeling like the game doesn't have much substance beyond its gore and chaos. Still, for fans of frantic, fun combat, Dead Island 2 delivers. Forget slow, creeping zombies. World War Z brings waves of undead that will make you feel like you're trapped in a never-ending nightmare. This game is all about large-scale cooperative gameplay, with hordes of zombies descending on you and your team from all directions. The game's greatest strength, its frantic cooperative action, can also be its biggest weakness. The repetitive level design and lack of deep character customization can leave some players feeling like they're stuck in a never-ending loop of zombie mowing. Some also complain that the story is weak, with only basic setups for each of the global locations. But if you're looking for pure zombie-killing action with friends, World War Z does it better than most. If you want a perfect balance of horror, action, and survival, the Resident Evil 2 Remake is the gold standard. You play as either Leon or Claire, survivors navigating through the decimated Raccoon City while facing terrifying zombies and ruthless monsters. But even this masterpiece has its flaws. Some players found the fixed camera angles and limited inventory system frustrating, especially in high-stress moments. The slow pace of certain segments can drag, and the occasional lack of direction in the environment might leave you feeling lost. Still, the incredible visuals and heart-pounding horror far outweigh these issues, making it a zombie survival experience you can't miss. Dead Space takes place in space, where you're not just fighting zombies, but reanimated nightmares that are far worse. You play as Isaac Clarke, an engineer trapped aboard a spaceship, trying to survive against the monstrous necromorphs. The remake elevates everything from the original, but some players find the tight corridors and claustrophobic environments frustrating when combined with a slow, methodical pace. The game's reliance on limited resources and occasional backtracking can feel tedious for some, though the intense atmosphere and combat mechanics more than make up for these minor setbacks. If you've ever wanted to fight zombies with a shopping cart full of weapons, Dead Rising is the game for you. Frank West, the reporter trapped in a mall, can use everything from baseball bats to lawnmowers to fight the undead. The biggest flaw? The game's outdated mechanics can feel clunky compared to modern action games. The open-world environment is a bit empty at times, with too much focus on repetitive side activities and not enough depth in the story. But if you're looking for an over-the-top, chaotic zombie-killing experience, Dead Rising still delivers in spades. And finally, Project Zomboid, the ultimate test of your survival skills. This hardcore survival game is all about managing food, water, shelter, and weapons in a world that's quickly falling apart. While it's one of the most authentic zombie experiences out there, its minimalist graphics and old-school interface can be a turnoff for some players. The complexity of the mechanics can also be overwhelming, and the game's pace can feel agonizingly slow for those used to more action-driven games. But for those willing to embrace its challenge, Project Zomboid offers a brutal, in-depth survival simulation unlike any other. Surviving a zombie apocalypse isn't easy, and these games prove it. From high-intensity action to emotional survival stories, these games will push you to your limits, flaws, and all. Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And remember, when the undead rise, you better be ready to fight.